Okay, welcome back. I've got another video coming up. This video we are going to be taking a look at adding match lines and putting a view onto multiple sheets. So basically when you have a large floor plan, again this isn't really a large floor plan, but if I were to put it on a smaller sheet size, say a tabloid size sheet, at an appropriate scale this would not fit. I wouldn't be able to get this to fit at, I don't even think at 1 to 100 it would fit. Definitely not at 1 to 50. So what you would do in situations like this is you might take sort of an overall floor plan view at sort of a larger scale, put it onto a sheet, and then you can actually split it up into, in this case I'll be having sort of a north plan and a south plan. So I'll be able to split it up into two different sheets, and I'll be able to put a match line, which is simply just a line that goes through the middle of the plan or divides the plan up into 2, 3, 4 different segments. It allows you to divide it up into multiple different sheets. It's a really, really nice function, nice tool that's available to us to use. Works really, really well in Revit. A couple of little tweaks that I like to make usually, but so let's just get started on this. Before I do anything, I'm actually going to add my sheets. Just a couple of blank sheets. I'm just going to new sheet, and I'm just going to create some landscape tabloid size sheets here. There we go, one, and I'm just going to add another one. Not super concerned about the drawing numbers or anything like that at this point. And I'm just going to go back to my first floor plan. So again, this plan isn't really set up as a working drawing. It's just my sort of functional model that I'm working with. So I'm going to actually take this, I'm going to divide it, I'm going to put a match line right down the middle here. And basically what that match line does is it allows you to line up the same line on two different plans so that you can see the relationship and how the two different plans would fit together even though they're on different sheets. So to add a match line, if we go to the View tab, there's a match line tool right here. And it's as simple as drawing a line through your building. That's it. You might want to, make sure you pick the right spot. I'm just going to get it off the cabinet there. So it's just sort of above the kitchen, below the dining room. That's where I'm going to put it once you're happy with it. And you can create more than one. If you needed to split this up into, like, maybe this area here would be one, this central area would be a second one, and this would be a third plan, that's fine. You can split it up into 3, 4, 8 different plans, depending, and you just add different match lines to wherever you need the views to be split. But I'm going to be happy with just the one match line here. I hit my check mark to accept it, and my match line is coming in pretty thick and heavy. Yours probably won't come in looking like this originally. If I go again back to my the View tab and I go to my Visibility and Graphics, what I did here is under the annotation categories, I scrolled down till I got to the match line, and I click in the middle here to override the graphics for my match line. So I'm still using sort of the dashed line pattern, but I switched the color to blue, and I gave it a line weight of 9 to really, really emphasize it on the drawing sheet so it really stands out. It is a fairly important element to have in your drawings, so you really kind of need that to stand out. All right, once I've done that, the next step is to create duplicate views. Now, I could create a duplicate or a duplicate with detailing. The challenge with those, though, is that as soon as you create one of those duplicates, they're completely independent from each other and from the original drawing, which means if I make a change to one of them, it's not going to apply to the other ones. If I duplicate as a dependent, which is what I want to do, you can see it comes out as a little subset, and any change that I make to perhaps the sort of the main parent file here. So let's bring these dimensions just really close to the building, and for fun let's just pull these a little bit further closer to the match line. If I go to the dependent view, you'll see that they changed. In the dependent view, if I move these back and move this back out a little bit, come on, cooperate, there we go, move it out, there we go. And I go back to the original, sort of the default view, you can see they've changed. You make a change in one, it affects the other. I'm going to create 2 of these dependent duplicates. dependent 1, dependent 2, and I'm going to rename them. So I'm going to rename this to first floor north, and I'm going to rename this to first floor south. And this way I have a bit of an idea of what each of these dependent views is going to end up looking like. So going back to the main view here, I'm just going to zoom out a bit. I'm going to turn on my crop region so I can see it. And I'm going to bring this in. It's actually in pretty good shape right now. You want to keep it sort of close to the model, your different elements, things like that you're going to show it. Now if I go to my first floor north view, my crop region's already turned on, and I'm just going to crop it out to just show the north portion of the building. I'm going to pull my section arrow, or sorry, my section line, the flag there. I'm just going to pull it closer to the match line. You'll note if I select the section, the section view is still going to give me the full section. Oops, sorry. So the section view is still going to give me the full section, but I just click and drag this section line so that flag is closer to the building. So again, it will fit on the view. It makes no sense if I don't shrink that down, but everything else gets cut down to the half size. I don't want this flag flying off the bottom of my screen, or the sheet. So once you're happy with this, and again, you can bring in the sides. I can get rid of that tree. I can bring in this side a little bit closer as well, so you have a lot of adjustment. Once you're happy with it, you can turn off the crop region again. You'll notice that the crop regions are independent between these dependent views. So the crop regions are allowed to be different. See, one of the only things that you can keep separate from view to view. You'll also see that I have on my main view here, I can actually see my north crop region. I can go to my south plan and do essentially the same thing. Grab my crop region, bring it down closer to the match line so only the south end of the building is showing. And again, I can bring these the crop regions in closer to the building again. I can hide things that I don't want. I don't really need that dining room tag because I'm not really seeing the dining room. So I'm going to crop that out, or sorry, hide that in the view. And I'm going to bring my section flag again back down closer to the building. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to hide the crop region again. So now I've got my south view, I have my north view, and I have my overall view that actually shows the north and south crop regions. So it works really nicely. Once I've got those views set up, I can go to my sheets. I can take my north plan and just sort of drag and drop it. Just going to use the arrow keys to sort of position it on the sheet. And I can clean this up, change the titles, whatever I need to do for this. It's in a good spot right now. I'm just going to leave it for now. You might want to rename the view. First floor north. And you might want to A101. And when you're happy with that, then you can go to your next sheet. South plan. Drop it onto the sheet. And you can see that if I try to fit the north part of the building on here, it would just come right off the screen. There's no way I was going to fit this whole building onto the one sheet at this scale. So I've got it there. Again, you might want to first floor south. And maybe this is a 102 sheet number. And there we have our match line dividing our building up into the north view and the south view. Now, one of the other really nice things about this is while I'm creating these match lines, like if I had a section view or my elevation views on a sheet, I'd see the tag or the sheet number and the view number. Same thing with your match lines. I can activate this view, or I could do it in the actual view if I don't want to do it on the title sheet. And from here, I can go to View Reference, and I can just put the cursor near the match line, and it will actually indicate that above this match line is sheet A101. I can do it on this side as well if I really want to. I can really do it anywhere I want nearby, near the match line. Or even down here you can see, but that's not really helpful. It's confusing. So you want to have it just on the side of the match line where the other part of the drawing would be. I can go to my north view and do the same thing. View reference on the south side is drawing number 1 on sheet A102. Whether you need to put it on both sides, that's your personal preference. So I can go to my north view sheet. There it is. South view sheet, referencing the north view. I've got my match line. Everything's looking good. And that's how to use match lines and how to set up a single floor plan on multiple different sheets. Hope you found it useful. Hope you found it helpful. And I'll be seeing you again in the next video. Thanks a lot.